Good morning, everyone. My name is Chenagala Sonith Yadav, and this is a Tech Talk. I'm from CSE Data Science, and this is an AAT Tech Talk. In today's topic, we're going to be talking about how we could make a currency converter using Python as our base. So, before getting into the topic, let's talk about Python. What is Python? Python is the newest and trending coding language there is. Why? Because why? Because Python is basically easy to use. And let's get into some of the things about Python. Python is a high-level interactive and object-oriented scripting language. It is designed to be highly readable. It commonly uses English keywords, whereas other languages use punctuations. It has less syntactical constructions than the other languages. That's right. It is easy to use because it mostly uses English keywords. We have params for parameter, print as print, and we use certain words like break, print, boolean, and these are mostly English words. Other languages such as C++ and higher degree languages mostly use punctuations, due to which syntactical constructions are more complex and also more. To the history of Python. Python was developed by Guido van Rossum in the late 80s and early 90s at the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands, Holland. Yeah. Python is derived from many other languages, including ABC, Modula 3, C and C++, Algol 68, Smalltalk, and Unix shell and other scripting languages. As I said, Python is the easier languages which has been derived from all the other complex languages. It is an easy language for beginners. So the features of Python, yeah, easy to learn. That's what I've been telling from that time. Python has few keywords, simple structure, and a clearly defined syntax. This allows a student to pick up the language quickly. So I'm a first year, and and we're starting with Python because Python is basically easy and anyone can pick it up. So we started with Python, and I'm starting to learn Python, and it is very what should I say, student friendly, yeah, and is also easy to read. Python code is more clearly defined and visible to the eyes. Rather than punctuations, we use words. And it also has a broad standard library. Python's bulk of the library is very portable and across platform like Unix, Windows, and Macintosh. And also, yeah, and the earlier languages such as C, predecessors of C, they were only usable in Windows and not in other devices like Unix and Macintosh. But Python is more portable and can be used in any of the operating systems like Unix, Windows, and Macintosh. And then Python has interactive mode. Python has support for an interactive mode which allows interactive testing and debugging of snippets of code. Yeah, and Python editors like yeah, we're talking about like Python editors like Microsoft Visual Code, Visual Studio Code. They have these features or interactive features like debugging and testing of the code before running it. And last point, databases. Python provides interfaces to all major commercial databases. And now we're done with Python. We're converting currency. So let's look at the history of money. In the distant past, there was no concept of money. People rather used barter system wherein people used to trade objects with each other. That is, they traded the object they had in surplus and didn't need with the object, then didn't need, and with the object they wanted. So we all know that cavemen didn't use money, right? So when did money come from? So what did they use back then? And even until recent kingdoms, people used barter system, wherein people used to trade objects with each other. So let's take an example. Uh, I ha- I am a farmer and I have excess of tomatoes. I have excess tomatoes, and I have and I know a cobbler who needs tomatoes. I will exchange my tomatoes in exchange for a shoe the cobbler gives me. So there is no exchange of money between people, but rather objects. This this barter system had its flaws though, because people didn't usually trade items of equal value. Like people trade, for example, the Portuguese were obsessed with tulips, so they traded gold for tulip flowers. And in the next 3 years, tulips started to grow all around China and Eastern Asia. So they traded gold for tulips. Now the tulips were not that worth that they were 2 3 years ago, and resulting in a heavy loss for the Portuguese traders. Yeah, Portuguese traders. And the first to use coins were the Babylonians, who dated back to 2000 BCE. The first people to use coins, they used precious metals such as gold and bronze at the time, and they not printed, they carved some symbols on it, and these were called coins. And in the 6th century BCE, leather and animal hide began to be fashioned into currency. Yeah, the leather and animal hide are very how to say it, are very hard to obtain back then, and people had to go out and hunt animals for them. So these became a regular currency in the 6th century BCE. Paper money started to be used in China in 997 AD or CE. Yeah. So we all know that paper originated in Asia, in Egypt, and in China. And the Chinese emperors started to use paper money as to regulate flow and economics of their kingdoms. As money was and as people could keep track of money more easily rather than different items being traded with each other. The first credit card was invented in 1950, and this was when the Buyers Club was invented too. And with IBM, yeah, right. IBM and other technological companies created the strap that we see on the back of the black strap that we see on the back of credit cards in the 1980s. And credit cards started to be used normally in the 1990s. And we get to the 21st century where Bitcoin or cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Shiba, and Dogecoin uh, are used. Bitcoin was the first type of cryptocurrency. It was created in 2009 by an anonymous computer programmer or group of programmers known as Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto. And Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency is basically people's systems up against each other, solving complex problems, and whichever system does it first receives some amount of Bitcoin. So this process is known as mining of cryptocurrency. Right, we are done with history of money. And the question may arise, why do we have to convert currencies to another? Why aren't all the currencies the same? Why isn't 1 rupee equal to $1? And the answer is the value of currency depends on the supply and demand in the international market. If the demand of currency is increasing in market and the supply fulfill the demand of the currency, so the value will increase increase. On the other hand, if demand of any currency is decreasing in the market, so the value of the currency will go down. So we're talking about the foreign market here, and mostly the foreign market. How do I tell you? Yeah, mostly the foreign market refers to Wall Street in New York, and the value of currency depends on the supply and demand. If the supply, like that's how do I tell you? Yeah, by imports and exports, right? the uh, the amount of import that if India's import sorry if India's export to other countries is greater, so will its currency rise. You get it? So the more we export goods, the more the demand of our currency is. So the value of our currency goes up. Uh, in the foreign market, or so we take foreign market refers to Wall Street. So the more the exports and the more the developed the country is, the more the value of the currency. And we're taking Wall Street as an example, and people take the USA as the number one country right now. So the universal currency metric is dollar for trading and everything. Currency currency which is more demanded in current scenario in the international market, and the supply of the currency is in flow. That currency value will automatically be high after some time. This type of currency is called hot money because its demand is high and it is most useful currency for trade. Yeah, dollar, euros, and Great British Britain pound are called hot money because the demand is high and it is most useful currency for trade. Every country want to trade in this currency. Indian currency is not in demand in the market, while other currencies have more demand, as dollar, pound, yeah, dollar, British pound, and euro, etc. This is the biggest reason why 1 rupee is not equal to $1. So we get to currency converter using Python. So first, we need to prepare a list of all the exchange rates of all the currencies in the world, or the currencies that you want to convert your base currency into. In this case, I'm taking INR as our base currency, and these are the exchange rates of INR. These are the exchange rates of INR with other currencies. So, for example, one Indian rupee equals 2.36 etc. Pakistani rupees, and one INR equals wait a minute 568 Iranian rial. These are all the exchange rates, and the on the right side we see how much one of this currency. So let's take an example. Australian dollar. One in Indian rupee is equals to 0.01 etc. Australian dollar. But one Australian dollar equals 53.54 etc. Indian rupees. That these are called exchange rate tables. So we have to create a txt file with this currency table, exchange rate currency table, and save it in wherever you want. But I have saved it on my desktop in a folder called currency. Open your preferred editor. I'd recommend Visual Studio Code by Microsoft Visual Studio Code, as it is beginner friendly and it is very easy to use. Go to your prefer folder and open the folder in which you've saved the txt file. Open, yeah, I've saved it on my desktop. The folder's name is currency, and I've selected the folder. As soon as you select that, you will get a txt file in your editor. Go to the left side and under Explorer in the empty space, please right click in the empty space, and click on a new file, and create a Python file. So we're using Python to convert the currencies, right? We have to create a Python file. Create a Python file of your choice. It can be any name. I've just taken it as python.py. The .py at the end is very important, because if you don't have the .py, it will just become a txt file, and you will not be able to code with the txt file. So after creating your Python file, from we start the code from here. So with open currency text as f, lines equals read dot read lines f whole brackets. This these two statements make you read the txt file and absorb all the data it has, and the system absorbs all the data that this txt file has. The system absorbs all the data this txt file has, and it'll remember all the exchange rates. Next, we create a dictionary for the exchange rates. So all the data that so next, all the data that the system has read, we are creating a dictionary so that it can store the data. So this is the code. Currency dict equals we're creating a dictionary for the line in lines. Parse equals line dot split uh, slash t in string, and currency dict parse 0 equals parse 1. Then we create the statement for the amount that is to be converted. So suppose you take a 500 rupees. You need to convert 500 rupees into dollars or anything. So we use create dollars or anything. So the you enter 500 here. The amount you need to convert, the amount that you need to convert should be written here. Sorry, not should be written here. This is the code for the amount you have to convert. Then we write a statement for us to pick the currency to which we want to convert the INR. So we have the list, right, the TXT file. We have to pick any one, or for picking any one of these currencies, we are creating a statement. Item in the currency dict. We created a dictionary for the exchange rates, right? To pick an item from the dictionary that we have created, this statement is used. And the last statement is used to convert INR to desired currency. Amount INR equals amount into float currency date currency. Yeah, this uses the numbers that are the exchange rates to convert our INR into the desired currency. So after that, your code is completed, and now we need to run it. Before we run it, go to the terminal on the top of the screen and create a new terminal. This is where we'll be getting our output. Your terminal will appear at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, this is your terminal. After clicking new terminal, you'll get this one. Then we go to the top right corner and click on Run Python file. This will run your code and give you the output. Upon clicking run, you will be asked to enter the amount which is converted. I told you, right? Yeah. This statement will ask you the amount to be entered. So I've taken my amount as 1,400 rupees. After clicking enter, the available options will be displayed. Choose one currency that you want to convert to. See, these are all the options that you can use. These are all the options that you can convert INR to. So these three lines give the option for us to choose. These three lines give the option for us to choose which currency that we want to convert to. Okay. I've chosen Japanese yen, and the amount I've entered is 1,400 INR, which will be converted into Japanese yen. At the last, we had the last line which converted INR to the currency that we wanted. I have hit Japanese yen, so it converts into Japanese yen, and the program displays that 1,400 INR equals to 2,141.328 Japanese yen. This is the currency converter using Python. And we have a few things to remember. I've used a Visual Studio Code, but you can use any other editor. But the thing is, when I use Visual Studio Code, I can open a folder and I can save both these files in the same destination. So the read lines statements will become easier. If they are in some other folder, you'll have to specify the path through which you took the txt file, and also the exchange rates I'm using here are from INR, are exchange rates of INR. That is how much 1 rupee is in the other currency, and how much one of the other currency is in INR. If you want to use US dollar, if you want to use US dollar or some Japanese yen or any other currencies, you will get the exchange rate table for those online. I've used INR. I've used INR as my base currency, and that's it. And that's it. Thank you for listening to my presentation. This is Sonith Yadav from CSE Data Science, and hope you all understood this project. And this is a good project for beginners. And thank you.